This masterclass, I'm sure you know, is all about how to get started as a VA and make your first 2K. So I'd love to know in the chat if you've considered becoming a VA before, maybe what's your background. That would be really good to know. But this is how to get started as a VA and make your first 2K. So what are you going to learn today? I'm going to show you the benefits of being a VA. There's lots of benefits, and I've jotted down a few that are really gonna hopefully sink in, because it's amazing. Like, I love being a VA. I'm gonna talk about the simplest services to start with. There's lots of different services that you can offer, so I'm going to explain those to you. We're gonna have a look at a few of the tools that you need, the must-have ones. I'm gonna show you 2 of my clients and the kind of stuff that I used to do with them. How to get started and make your first 2K. So kind of how much money you need and what it will look like in terms of a breakdown to get that 2K. We're going to be talking a little bit about finding clients. We're also going to be talking about the biggest mistakes that VAs make and how to avoid them, because there are a lot of, I'm very active on social media and things like that, and I see a lot of people making some mistakes, and not just like one person, like it's a group thing, and it's just because people haven't been taught the right way. So I'm going to cover that, and then I'm going to talk a tiny little bit about AI. So the rise of AI powered support, it's massive at the moment, and it is great for VAs because we can actually use it within our business and for clients as well. So we've got quite a bit to get through, so I will just carry on. So a little bit about me. I'm a mum. I've got 2 small kids, maybe not so small, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, Harvey and Ella Rose. There you can see a little picture. I've got a husband, a dog, and I live in the UK in Worcestershire. And I started my VA business 7 years ago now. Now, my background is a PA, so that was my, and I've been a PA for, oh my God, probably 15, 17 years, something like that. So that's really kind of all I knew. And I did enjoy it, but I didn't at the same time. I also have a love of music, and I have a degree in it, actually. Nothing to do with the PA world. So just a little bit of history, and some of you might resonate with this right now as well. So pre-2014, I was working as a PA in the corporate world, and had been for many years. And then in 2014 I had my son. I started to look for something that I could do from home, because I really wanted to have that flexibility and that freedom, but I couldn't find anything. I did a bit of network marketing, and I did a bit of cake decorating, which was a bit crazy, but it didn't provide what I wanted, which was money and freedom and flexibility. I couldn't replace my income on that, and so I kind of left it for a while. And then in 2017 my daughter came into the world. She was premature. She only weighed £1 10 ounce. And it was really that moment, that pivotal time, where I was like, I really need to find something different, because it made me wake up. It was like a wake up moment. I didn't really enjoy the job that I was doing, and I didn't really feel like I was being fulfilled as a PA. So I looked for something else, and I stumbled across the VA world, and I felt really strongly about doing something different and being there for my kids, so that, if they were ever ill, I could just, drop everything and go and be with them, etc. So at the end of 2018, I had become a VA, and I was making more than my corporate income within about 6 months. So I didn't have to commute, and I only worked Monday to Thursday. I took Fridays off, and it was a complete life-changing thing. I will just look back at that as just a fun moment of actually trusting myself to do this, because it was a very scary moment, like actually starting as a VA, as it's not something that I knew what I was doing, basically. And then in 2020 I started Social Media Mums, which is now called Wow Mum, and I teach other mums and women how to start their own VA businesses, and I've helped hundreds, I can't remember how many, but lots, to build their VA businesses. So what are the top benefits? Okay, so you can make an unlimited income. So I think that's really important to say, because it doesn't mean when you have, say, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, 4 clients, and that's it. You can go bigger than that. You can In the future, if you wanted to, you could build an agency, and so you could have other VAs working with you and you're just kind of managing the clients, but you're not actually doing the work. So you can scale it. You can start being more kind of expertise in what you do. So there are people that are charging, 1K, 2K for a package every single month. And the reason that they're doing that and able to do that is because they're specialized in a certain area. So for example, it might be that you eventually become specialized in tech, and you might be specialized in a certain piece of tech as well, or it might be that you specialize in AI. So you would probably wouldn't start there at the beginning unless you really know what you wanted to do. And we're going to talk about services, but eventually you can specialize in these certain areas, and then you can demand a higher price, and that's where you can really kind of build up your revenue. And so it's unlimited income. There are other things that you can do as well. It's flexible, so you can set your own working hours and you can work from anywhere in the world. You can work. I never wanted to work at weekends. I only wanted to work in school hours. I didn't want to work in the evenings, but really you can work whenever you want to work. It's your business. You tell the client your boundaries, when you work, when you don't work. Low overhead costs. So this is really important as well. Most of the money that you make is profit, because actually your expenses are very, very minimal. I think I was probably paying maybe £30 a month in expenses. So you can imagine, if you're making 2K, that most of that is profit. Obviously you've got tax to consider as well, but the important thing to note is that you're not having to pay for products, you're not having to pay for somewhere to be able to work. Like, it's a really low overhead cost, which is brilliant as well. And it's a really rewarding and fulfilling career. When you're helping other business owners and you get those testimonials back, or you get that kind of, oh my God, you've made my life so much easier, I couldn't live without you. It's really rewarding. And I'll show you a few of my clients, but some of the things that they said to me, and some of my clients have become friends. So there's one lady I still work with. I mainly train and teach how to become a VA rather than do VA work, but I still do have a client, and she's been with me since 2019, so it's about 6 years. So we get on so well, and we are quite local to each other, so we will meet up, and we have an amazing relationship. So you can really kind of get that as well as running your business. And it's easy to set up as well. We're kind of going to cover what you need to set up, but it's more your mindset. That's the barrier, rather than the things that you need, for example. So what kind of services can you offer? What I'll do, guys, is if you've got any questions, then just jot them down or put them in the chat. So just write them in the chat and I'll answer them afterwards. So there are lots of different services that you can offer, like loads of different services. And it really just depends on what you enjoy, what you've done before, also what you don't want to do, because at the end of the day, this is your business. So we don't want to build a business where you are doing things that you don't like, because then you'll start resenting it, and there's no point in doing that. I've split things up into 11 different categories here. So we've got your general kind of admin services. I'll go through this in a little bit more detail in a minute. We've got creative services, so you might be a creative person, social media management. We've got personal and lifestyle VA, writing, event management. So if you're really good at events or organising, you can do online events, offline events. We've got customer service, marketing, website design, tech support, and then the last one is research and market analysis. So I've kind of broken them down I haven't done all of them, but I have done the most kind of popular ones. So, and I can give this list and I can give these slides to Anna, so she can have them, and she can give them to you if you want them. But it kind of breaks it down a little bit more. So your general kind of admin services, and I'm sure a lot of you probably do this kind of stuff already. So we've got your usual kind of email management, calendar scheduling, travel arrangements. File organisation is a big one. I do a lot of that for my client right now. She's a real kind of messy kind of person, like she's disorganised basically. And so when I first started, like a lot of her folders and files were just the online folders where you use Google Drive, where like everything was everywhere. So we've really started to try and tidy that up. So you can imagine it's been quite a few years of stuff that needs organising. But it's a really popular one because a lot of business owners are so disorganised with emails, with their diary, with their files and their online folders, and stuff is everywhere. It might be you want to do document formatting, or even like basic bookkeeping you can do as well. What else have we got here? Document template creation, podcast management is quite a big one at the moment. There's a lot of podcasts being created, and the ones that are already very successful and they need managing. Blog management, you can monitor comments on socials. AI management is another one. We're going to talk a little bit about AI and some services that you can do in a minute, well, at the end. And then over here we've got event management. So it's probably quite obvious what these things are like, but venue research, invitations, diary coordination, on the day itineraries. I mean, this is stuff that I used to do quite a lot as a PA anyway, like travel arrangements. I'd research venues, and this is the stuff that you can do for business owners as well. If you've got a business owner that does events, or maybe they travel a lot, then your skills that you already have would be perfect for this. And so there's event management there. Personal and lifestyle VA is quite a popular one as well. So this is more for maybe you have a client and they travel a lot and they aren't at home as much, so they need that home organisation, and maybe they also need a bit of travel planning as well. So in here it can be like things like grocery shopping, it can be travel itinerary planning, it might be that they want gift shopping and wrapping services, so you'd go and have a look online and you'd buy like the gifts and then you get them wrapped, whoever was sending them, and then get them sent. It might be that they want kind of some personal finance spreadsheets created, like pet care, any kind of home and car maintenance and scheduling and planning, bills sorting out, those kind of things, even like meal planning and diary and email management as well. So you can be a personal and lifestyle VA as well. And then creative services are things like graphic design, creating logos, brand stuff, presentations, video editing, that kind of stuff. And then social media management is content creation, social media scheduling, influencer outreach, social media strategies. That's actually what I specialise in eventually, was social media management. So there's all sorts of things there. If you like being on social media, then that's something that you could think about. So how do you kind of identify your skills and experience that you have to offer any of the above services? So the first thing to think about is like strengths. So what are you naturally good at? What tasks do you excel in? Like, are you good at organising? Do you like talking? Or are you great at listening? Maybe you are a really creative person, or writing, or maybe you're a numbers person and love spreadsheets. So think about the things that you are naturally good at. And if you're kind of someone who thinks, oh, I'm not good at anything, a lot of people do think that, then ask a family member or friend, because I bet you that they have got some good things to say about what you're great at. The next thing is to think about the interest. So what tasks do you enjoy doing? Like, which industries are you passionate about? It might be that you really love planning parties and holidays. Maybe you enjoy social media and interacting on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you are. Then those are some things that you can jot down as well, because it's not just about what we've done in the past or maybe in your job right now. It's actually, if you looked at your job right now, what I would do is like, what elements of your job, if you're a PA, EA, what elements of your job do you actually enjoy? And like write a list of, these are the ones I enjoy, these are the ones that I don't, because there is no point offering services that you hate doing. It's a big no-no, and it just, like I said earlier, like you'll resent your business. So think about your interests as well. I kind of diversified then. Next one is experience. So what roles, current roles, projects have you been involved in? It doesn't always have to be like work stuff or job roles. It could be that you've done something for a friend. Like, I know plenty of people who have come to me and they've done, and they've had no kind of admin experience at all, but what they have done is they've like designed a website for a friend, and then they've gone away and mastered that craft, and then they're offering that as a premium service. So it might be that something that you've done personally, maybe you've organised a friend's wedding or baby shower or a party. Those are still things that you have experience in. So I get a lot of people say, I'm not really that experienced in March, and yeah, I've got a admin role, but I don't like most of it. Think of the other things that you have done in your life as well. They're different types of service. I have got something at the end if you want to go a little bit more deeper into discovering your services, as well as like the high in demand services of 2025, but I'll talk about that at the end. Let's go on to must-have tools. Earlier I said that it was quite easy to launch a VA business. There are a few things that you really need to have set up first. So a laptop, computer is probably obvious, but I get a lot of people say, can I do this on a mobile phone? And a VA, not really. Like if you were doing socials and social media management, then you could probably get away with some stuff. But if you're doing like admin and organising and emails and diary and all that kind of stuff, you need some kind of laptop, computer. Wi-Fi, super obvious, but you need some good Wi-Fi. A domain name. So the only you do not need a website, guys. I can't express how many times people have come to me and say, I need a website before I get started. You do not need a website before you get started. That's the mistake I made, was that I thought that I needed a website because I thought that that would make me look professional and that I wouldn't be able to get clients if I didn't have a website. And that is absolute rubbish. You can get clients, plenty of clients, before having a website. There's a lady actually recently, Marie, we in our course I do monthly mentoring sessions, and we were talking about this the other day, and I was saying she's really listened. She doesn't have a website, but I think she's got 3 or 4 clients now, and she still doesn't have a website. And we were talking about this, and I was like laughing because most people will say, no, you do not need a website to get clients. That's not something that you need, but you do need a domain name. And the only reason that you need a domain name is because of your email address. So you don't want to have an email address like sarahross@gmail.com, because that doesn't look professional. It should be, Sarah at, I'm thinking of a business name, Sarah, even if I was just to say my name, like my business name, sarah@wowmum.com, like that's much more professional than gmail.com. So the only reason that you need a domain name is go and secure a domain name. So think about what you want to call yourself. You can call yourself your own name, or you can make up a name for your business. Go and secure that domain name, and then you need to have a professional email address. But like, it literally takes minutes for this. You don't need, it just enhances your credibility and makes you more professional, because if you are sending emails and it's coming from a Gmail account, it does look a bit like you're not taking this seriously. So I would definitely do that, but you don't need a website. So that's a few things before you launch. And then I've just added some tools here, and you might have some of these already, like Canva. This presentation's on Canva. A lot of people use Canva for personal stuff. You probably used it at work, maybe Zoom, obviously. And then there's other things like Toggle Track that help you track your time, so see how long you're spending on things. We've got our Google Drive here that I use an awful lot to store documents and share documents with clients as well. We've also got Grammarly. Now, even though I was a PA for a long time, my spelling's not too bad, but sometimes the grammar can be not great. Or not as it should be. So you can actually use Grammarly as an extension on your computer, and it will highlight any kind of grammars or grammatical errors or spelling mistakes and things. So if you aren't great at that, then you can use that. Calendly is a great one, because that's where people can book time to have a call with you. So if you've got like a potential client, someone's interested in your services, you can use Calendly and they can book a slot in your diary. HelloSign is like for contracts, so you can send a contract to a client and then they can sign it through HelloSign. Trello, oh my god, I couldn't live without Trello. Trello is where I organise all of my social media, admin tasks, like with the client that I have right now. Every month we get on a call and we go through the Trello board, and it's basically a list of things that I need to do for her, and we go through, tick things off, add stuff on. If I've got any questions, then we talk about that. She's a property developer, so she has lots of properties. Like a Trello board is basically, if you haven't used it before, it's like an organisation tool, management tool really, and you can share a board with your clients so they can see it as well. It's really, really cool. So there's a few tools that you can have. I have put must-have tools, but I don't use all of these actually. Yeah, no, I do use all of these pretty much actually. So you can go and have a look around, but they're really easy to use. And I would say also, like, I didn't have a clue about any online tools when I started. I really didn't, and now I'm very knowledgeable about all sorts of tools. So there are a few that I would definitely have a look into if you're just starting out. Here's a few of my clients. So I just put a couple of these slides in because I think it's interesting to see what kind of clients you can work with. And there's a lot of business owners out there that need VAs. Like, VAs are still in a lot of demand at the moment and will be for a long time. I know that my client, my property client, like, she would be completely lost without me. And, you know, she actually tried hiring a VA in the Philippines and it didn't work out. And you'll probably see, especially if you're in your like VA Facebook groups or any kind of groups, and some people are charging like, I don't know, $10 an hour, or some like $5, or which is around kind of £5 an hour, like, which is rubbish. You're not that kind of VA. You're not going to be that VA. You're going to have these clients that are value what you do. So this is Jackie, and she's a holistic therapist, and I met her at a network meeting, and she was really unsure about what she should be doing on her social media and didn't really understand how to work it for her business, and she just wanted to focus on serving her clients, not being stuck on social media. So I did mainly Facebook posts and scheduling for her. And she was thrilled. She was one of the people that was like, oh my God, I don't know what I could do with, I couldn't live without you. So Jackie, and we got on so well, and literally just met her at a local networking event a couple of times, and we just had that vibe and got on really, really well. This is Oliver. So Oliver, I'm just laughing because of the way that we kind of met. He's a businessman who helped, he's retired now, but he helped companies expand internationally, and I met him on LinkedIn. And the funny story is that I was very active on LinkedIn at the time, trying to get clients and things like that, and he sent me a message saying I help companies expand internationally. And I was like, I'm not quite at that stage. Like, it was in my first kind of few months. And then he actually became a client. So he was trying to sell me his services. It was funny. And we just started having a conversation on LinkedIn, and I ended up being his VA. So I helped him with podcast research. I also helped him with audio typing, but I hated it, so I soon dropped that. I did email and diary management for him. I did some event management, and posted on Twitter for him. And he was great. I actually went down and met him in London once, and with some other guy as well, because it was nice to meet up with him. And yeah, he was just brilliant, like a pleasure to work for. And then I think I had him for about 4 years, and then he retired. So that was Oliver. So all sorts of different business owners out there need our help, and there are a few things, like how, in terms of getting started, like the biggest hurdle to get over in getting started is your mindset and getting yourself out there. That's the biggest thing, because I don't know about you, but I was in a position where it was scary. Like, I had a job, I was making money, I couldn't afford not to make money. I wanted to have that flexibility and that freedom, but I'd never done anything like this before. So the thought of actually going out and trying to start a business and find clients was very alien to me and very scary. And believe it or not, I'm a very introverted person and very shy. So the thought of going to networking meetings and doing that kind of thing scared the hell out of me. But I really, really wanted to be there for my kids, and so I made it happen and I made it work. So the first thing that you need to do is like create a business name. So if you haven't already got one, I always say, if you use your own name, that's absolutely fine. If you want to make up a name, you can, but you don't have to. Your ideal client work is an important part of the process, because you want to think about who you'd love to work with, what problems do they have, what are their ultimate desires. So for example, if you're not sure, what I would think about is someone that you have really liked working with. Maybe it has been a boss, an ex-boss, or maybe a colleague, or even like a friend that you just think has really great qualities. You need to kind of think, when you start getting into business, you'll think about, you'll start hearing all this ideal client stuff about, like, who do you like to work with, where do they live, what kind of business do they have, what keeps them up at night, what are their pain points and their problems. But it's really, really important to think about those things, because you do need to think about the transformation that you bring to a client. So it's not just about, oh, I do admin for you. It's actually what that does and what knock-on effect that does. So for example, when I was working, let's go with Jackie, it wasn't that I was just doing her social media. The thing that I was doing was I was giving her back time, knowing, and she knew that she had a consistent presence on social media, that she was getting bookings, that she was getting new clients because of what I was doing for her. So actually that had a knock-on effect for her, because she wasn't stressing about it. She wasn't stressing that her competitors were on there. She had more time in her day to spend with clients, but she also had more time to do things that she loved to do. So it's not just that, you know, as a social media manager, it was other things as well that really, you know, there's a lot of business owners that are awake at night worrying about stuff, and if you can go in there and talk to them in a way that helps them alleviate that stress and that worry, then that is like how you convert those people. What else do you need? I kind of went off on a tangent there. So branding, so like you can have a logo. I would say that's not even that important either right now. Like, you know, if you someone who wants to just get started and go and get your first client, you don't even need to have a logo. You talk about your messaging, so how do you talk to people, maybe like your color palette, like the values, why you exist, why you're doing that, so the branding element. Legal stuff, so contracts, so you definitely have a contract with your client. I use a company called Coffee Clatch. I'll write this in the chat when I finish, and they do all sorts of different contracts for VAs, so they're really, really good. Insurance, professional indemnity insurance and cyber insurance cost me about £80 for the year, so I would definitely recommend that you do that. ICO, so if you're in the UK, you need to be registered with the ICO. That's around £40 for the year. And then HMRC, so obviously you need to register with them that you're self-employed, so you will need to do that, but you don't even need to do that right away either. And then continuous knowledge building, so when you're a business owner, like, you're always learning new stuff. Like, I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I'm always continually learning and learning my craft and learning new skills, and I love that. So if you are someone that loves learning, then this is brilliant for you. So I would say, like, just continue learning, continue building up that knowledge, and yeah, you never stop learning ever. There's always new things to learn. Pricing, so you might or might not be surprised that you can charge at least £30 to £35 per hour, and that's the average. That's not like the minimum that I would suggest is £30 per hour. I don't know if any of you are in the States, or that's around $40, so $40 to $45 an hour, and it's the going rate here. And so don't be worried if you see someone charging £20 or £25 and you're like, oh no, I need to charge £30. That's fine. You charge £30 and don't worry about what everyone else is charging. But it is the standard rate. When I first started in 2018, it was £25 an hour. So it's gone up a little bit. But yeah, don't, because it's not, you know, you want to make a profit, right? So it's a great like hourly wage. So, but it doesn't have to stop at your hourly rate either. So in terms of like the example goal of 2k, so I've done this in pounds because I think most of you are in the UK. If you want to make 2k in your business, I've just kind of broken it down. So one client would be 20 hours at £30. I've just gone for the lower end, £30 an hour. So that would be £600. So all you need is your first client, 20 hours, which is a standard package, £600, that's one client. Now if you had 4 clients, that's 2,400, so you've actually gone over the 2k. So 4 clients, £2,400, that's all you'd need. It's not like you need to find hundreds of clients. You don't. A handful will be brilliant. And then the time that takes, so it's 20 hours per week on client work, so that's 5 hours for each client if you had 4 clients. I hope the maths makes sense here. I'm not great at math, but I know that this sum works. It is right. So basically 20 hours per week. I don't know how much you work at the moment. When I was working as a PA, I reduced my hours slightly because I had the kids. I think I was working 28 hours a week. And then I think the normal was, it's still 36, 40 hours, something like that. So for 20 hours a week, you can make £2,400. And like I said, you can actually buffer that up with ad hoc projects as well, from all sorts of things. That 2,400 is just like your base figure. But if you want to add more onto that, you can. And also, the more experience you get, so within 3 or 6 months' time, you can raise your hourly rate. Like £30 the minimum. But what I recommend doing is like, you get your first client at £30, your next client you charge £33, and then the next client £38, and the next. So you're having this gradual increase in your pricing, and that's very viable to do as well. So you can make more money. There are so many ways to make money as a VA. Like, you have your standard clients, but there's lots of other things that you can do as well to top up that income, and also like other scalable things that you can do. Even at some point it might be, which is kind of what I did, is that you might want to do like a masterclass for a business owner on how to, I don't know, I'm just going to say Canva because it's an obvious one, but how teach a business owner how to work Canva, for example, and you can charge like about £150 an hour just to do a masterclass for them. So there's lots of potential, lots of opportunities, but there's just like a little breakdown. Now, I'm just looking at the time. Okay. How to attract and secure clients. So there is an awful lot of ways to find clients, loads and loads of different ways. And we have two kind of categories. So we have online and offline. So online would be things like LinkedIn, Facebook groups are still great. Your Facebook professional profile, even on Instagram, partnerships. So actually partnering up with another business owner and referring each other. Coffee chats. So go and just having a Zoom chat and getting to know other business owners, and opening up your network. Now, my network was very small when I first started. Like I was on LinkedIn, but I wasn't. Like, I had no connections or anything like that. I had like friends on Facebook, but my potential client pool was very minimal. Like, I really didn't have anyone. And so you have to kind of just build up your network, and it's really easy to do that by having coffee chats with other business owners, seeing how this isn't like a sales call, it's literally just seeing how each other are doing, what their business is, what they're looking to do in their business, what their goals are, and seeing if there's any synergy there. And it might be that they need your services, or it might be that they can recommend you to someone else in the future. Having coffee chats with other business owners is really, really key. You can do email marketing. I'd say email marketing is a little bit in the future. Like, you don't need to start email marketing right now. The best thing to do is just get out there and start talking to people. And if that sounds scary, believe me, I know, because I was very scared of that, but it's actually not as bad as you think. Guest experts. So I'm doing this for Anna, but it might be that you meet a business owner and you go and do like a guest expert for their audience about something that you specialise in. There's a lady, Sharon, she's one of my students in the course, and she specialises more in kind of websites and social media, and I think she's just done it actually, a masterclass on websites for beginners, for a group of people, for a business owner that she met, can't remember where she met them, but then she's getting in front of someone else's audience, which is really, really good. You don't have to do that right at the beginning, because if I was told to do that right at the beginning, I'd be like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But it's something in the future that you can when you maybe get more experience or more confident. And then offline, so you've got your face-to-face local networkings, which are really, really good to find clients, and they're not as scary as you think. Coming from someone who was petrified of talking to other people and standing up and talking about myself and my business, literally I was sick to the stomach the night before, but because I was so focused on what I wanted to do and I wanted to make this work, like I really wanted to make this work, I did it anyway, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. It got better and better and better. So actually local networking isn't as bad as it sounds. Industry shows, so that's where you can go to. There was a business expo actually near me not too long ago, and there was lots of business owners there where you can go around and look at their stalls kind of thing. They're not really called stalls, what they're called, can't think of it. But you go around and you can have conversations with them, see what they're all about. So they're quite good just to talk to people. Existing clients, you might not have those at the moment, but it's great to ask for referrals from existing clients. Or you can do what I said when we were talking about the coffee chats, and you can have referrals with other people, other business owners. one of the first things that I did was in a Facebook group, and I just posted a post, and it said something like, I'm looking to connect with other business owners just to have a quick coffee chat to see how we can help each other. And then I listed the different types of business owners. So there's ones like that have good synergy. So with a VA, like having someone who's in marketing, like a marketing business owner, a business coach, maybe someone who's like in the financial professional services or accountant, things like that, where you can refer, you know, each other's people is great. So, and I got loads and loads of people like saying, yeah, let's, you know, have a chat and things like that. So it was great. So that's something you can do. And then your inner circle, so your existing network, like who do you already know? Like I always say start with this one because it's the quickest way to kind of get clients is from people that you already know. And this isn't going and spamming your friends and your family saying, oh, will you be my client? Because most likely they're not your ideal client anyway. But it's good to kind of start making a list of people who you think would be either maybe a potential client or maybe might know other people or have a big network that you can kind of tap into. And I'll give you just one example of one of mine. So I had an old school friend I hadn't seen in years and years and years, and I sent her a Facebook message and I just said, hey, how you doing? Hope everything's okay. And then she replied back and said, hey, yeah, I'm good. What you been up to? And so I said, I'm actually starting a VA business. And she was a marketing consultant, and she was like, oh, okay, that's brilliant. And then I think it was about maybe 1 or 2 months later, she referred me a client. So that was great. And she referred me more than one client. So it's just that kind of tell people what you do. Let's quickly go through common mistakes and then a little bit about the AI stuff. And then, yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. So please don't work for free or undercharge yourself. I see a lot of people, especially in Facebook groups, saying, oh, I'll do this for free. I need to get some testimonials. And you don't work for free because it actually takes you away from finding clients that will pay you. So I would never really, you're worth more than working for free. And often if you're working with a business owner who's just wants you for free, they won't be a great client and often like just take advantage of you. And some people do it because they think, oh, well, then the client will pay me afterwards and it will be ongoing. And that rarely happens because really those types, when you say, oh, I'll do a month free, people only want it for free. They don't want to pay you. And those are the clients that you do not want. So don't work for free. You don't need to. Even if you have zero experience, okay, you don't need to work for free. I don't really recommend using platforms like Upwork. Upwork's like a third-party platform where you basically have to pitch for work. So there's a lot of kind of competition on that, and often again it's clients looking for low paid, like they only want to pay you like £10-15. It's not worth your time, so I wouldn't worry about Upwork. Another thing is I wouldn't wait until everything feels perfect. And I thought I had to have everything perfect. Like my website had to be up and running, I had to have business cards, I had to have my logo and all my branding right, and you really don't. Like nothing's ever perfect anyway. I don't believe there is such a thing called perfect because everything is always evolving. So don't feel like everything has to be perfect. You've literally just got to go out and get on with it and get started and make that first leap, and it will be well worth it. When people think that everything needs to be perfect, it's normally because of procrastination and worry and fear. So just go out there and take messy action. If a lot of people who follow me will know my phrase of just go out there and take the most messy, imperfect action. As long as you're taking action, that's all that matters, okay? You just have to do it. It doesn't matter if it's not right or something goes wrong. Like I've made a million mistakes and that's fine, but you learn from them. Don't try and do it alone. I try and get yourself some support or like a community where you can ask questions, or a coach or a mentor, so that, someone has already done what you want to do and knows what they're talking about. You'll see sometimes it can be really confusing in Facebook groups, like VA Facebook groups, where you ask a question and then everyone throws in their 2 pennies worth, and it can be really overwhelming and confusing. Don't I would say try and get a community where you know that the person who's answering, that it is the right answer to your question. That's why I have a community, like a course and a community, because I know that obviously I've walked your shoes and I know what I'm talking about, and I've done this for years and years and years now. Trying to do that. Comparing yourself to other VAs, try not to do that. I know it's really hard in the early days. I did it all the time, and I was like, she's doing better than me. She started at the same time as me. She was local. Why is she getting loads of clients and I'm not? Like, just focus on your lane and put your blinkers on and forget about what every other VA is doing. Don't chase every shiny object. Like, I think we can really get unfocused and we start something and then we like see something else and we're like, oh, go down that lane. Just try and stay focused on what you want to do and where you're going, and don't worry about that shiny object symptom where you're like, oh my god, that strategy looks good, let's go down that route, and you go down that rabbit hole. Don't. Blinkers on, like a horse, like that's running a race. You just gotta, keep focused and keep on your end goal, what you want to achieve. Not being consistent and thinking clients will magically appear. I think sometimes people think that if you just sit at your computer and do nothing, clients are just somehow magically going to find you. You just have to be consistent in your actions, and LinkedIn is a really good way to find clients, but you do have to be consistent in what you're doing on there, like adding connections on a daily basis. That's how you will find growth. That's how you will build up your networks. Whatever kind of client acquisition strategy you want to do, you need to do it on a consistent basis. Yeah, like not being clear on what you offer. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but don't just say I do admin, because if you just say to a business, oh, I do admin, like it means nothing to them. You really have to tap into that transformation that you are going to make for their business. It's quick common mistakes. So I just wanted to put this little bonus in, because AI is here, it's here to stay, it's moving really, really fast, and there's lots of different services that VAs can do as lots of different AI services that VAs can do for business owners, and it's a great place to be. And AI, I do feel like if VAs aren't using AI in their business, then you are going to be left behind. So it is important to kind of take note of this AI world that we're right in now. I have got very into AI twins and specialising in that. So an AI twin is basically an AI version of yourself, where you can then use it to promote your marketing. It's like like a photo shoot where you go out and you obviously get professional headshots and you have a brand shoot. It's like that, but you don't have to go out and pay thousands of pounds. You can actually create your own AI twin and you can market your products on social media. Like, there's a lot of it going on at the moment, like business. And the reason there's a lot of AI twins out there is because it's so quick to create content. It's something that I specialise in. But really, for VAs, you can actually do this as a service for other business owners. So you can actually help them create their own AI twin, and you can charge for it. So, for example, to set up and create an AI twin, you can charge like £250-300, and then you can actually give them like images every single month, and that could be, I don't know, 20 images for £250, so that they've always got a stock of images that they can use on social media. It's a great service to be able to provide a business owner. So that is something else that you can consider if you are interested in how to build your AI twin and how to get images. Then just let Anna know, or because I have a short course on how to do that. But it's a really great service that you can offer and get paid for. And like I said, when I was saying have your 4 clients and then add on projects, this could be a project or it could be a retainer thing that you offer. Then there's some other things that you can do in terms of AI services. So actually in the chat, I'll have a look in a minute, has anyone like gone into AI? Maybe you've used it at work, for example. Let me know. So you can write blogs and emails and newsletters for a business owner, and you can basically get ChatGPT or Jasper to help you create this stuff, and you can offer it as a service to another business owner. You can get ChatGPT again to help you generate social media content, like the captions, the hooks, like I said, the visuals and things like that can be done by AI as well. You can actually set up and manage AI chatbots for customer service or lead capture. So if you're in the customer service space, then you can definitely use AI chatbots to help a business owner with their customer service. You can transcribe and summarize meeting notes using AI tools. You can repurpose content like using AI. So, for example, you can take one blog that maybe a business owner has already written. Maybe I remember a client and she had like, oh my God, hundreds of blogs. That what we can do now is take that one blog and then you could turn it into a Facebook post, a TikTok, a reel, a story, a carousel. So, there's so much greatness coming out of AI that can really help you in your role as a VA. You can do quick research and reports with AI research tools. You can design marketing assets with AI as well. So you can literally use tools where you type in, I want, a flyer for this business. This is their audience. This is their color palette. And then it will just create it for you. So that's really cool. You can draft proposal tracks with AI assistants as well. And even things like, email responses and reminders, you can set those up for a business owner as well. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do as an AI service. What I would suggest is, because there's so much out there and it's very overwhelming, is just pick one thing and learn about that. Don't try and do it all. So for me, like, I wanted to do like AI twins and become a master and expert at AI twins. And so that is like another side of my business that I do. So just pick one thing, because there's so much out there that if you try and learn it all, it's just too overwhelming and you don't really become good at anything, because it's just, there's too much stuff. So pick one and become an expert in there. But just think about the AI services that you can offer are really going to help you to stand out amongst other VAs as well. So recap. So just quickly, we went over the benefits of being a VA. We talked about the services that you can start with. We talked about some must-have tools. You met 2 of my clients. We talked about the things that you need to get started. We talked about different types of ways to find clients. So I could probably talk about this for days on end and really go into the nitty-gritty of everything on how to find clients. But obviously we've only got around an hour, so I've given you like a bit of a highlight of finding clients. We talked about the biggest mistakes, and then the rise of the AI-powered support. So I just wanted to quickly mention, and I said I could, that I have got a VA Skills to Cash workshop coming up on Tuesday. And this is a workshop where we're going to really identify the skills you already have that are in demand in 2025. And I'm going to map them into VA services that you can confidently offer. So whatever your skills are, I've got this whole mapping process that you can use so that you can confidently go out there and then start offering that as a service and start getting paid. We're going to talk about the packages that you can use as well, and a bit about messaging. So it's really like what skills, because a lot of people come to me and they're like, well, I kind of like this, I've done this, I don't know if I'm good at this, what can I offer? So we're really going to map those, and we're going to also talk about the in-demand skills right now in 2025. So if you want to come to that, you're more than welcome. It's $27. You do save 10% here if you use the code SAVE10. I'll put this in the chat if I can. Dear, hang on. That's not very good, is it? No, I've marked that up. I'll pop the link in there. Just use SAVE10 and you can get 10% off. It's $27, which is around £19. And then whatever 10% off is that. But it's live, 3rd Tuesday. Come and join me. I'm going to stop sharing this. Or I do have a course as well, if you're interested in the course. So this is a complete course on how to get started as a VA and clients and get your first 2K. And there's a community there as well, and loads of content, tutorials, go into a lot more detail. If you want more info on that, then I'll put my email in here as well, so you can ask me anything. Like, even if you've got questions after this, just ask me. I'll just quickly run through the questions. What kind of Facebook groups did you join? I wouldn't join, like, another mistake people make is that they try and join VA groups to find clients. I wouldn't do that, because there's lots of obviously VAs in there. So what I would do is join women entrepreneur, or it doesn't matter, like business groups, maybe in your local area to start with. So what I would do is just type into the Facebook bar business networking or business groups, and you'll find loads that come up. If you want to put in your local area, then do that and they will come up as well. That's the workshop if you want to come there. You can have a look at that later. Totally get it. Do I need to request live call in? Well, Chrissy, I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, is that something else? Oh, hang on now. Oh, here we go, Rebecca. I'm a full-time EA and I love it, but want to offer VA services outside my 9 to 5. I'm struggling to find clients that need assistance outside the 9 to 5 time frame. Also not active on social media and would rather not be. Any help or advice appreciated. I've done the standard sending out emails. Have you done like the inner circle work? Because that would be like in terms of finding clients. If you don't want to be on social media, then obviously you've got to do stuff that's off social media. So a good way to do that is either going into your local area and doing local networking events, or thinking about the different types of people that you know and writing a list. I always say write a list of everyone you know, even people like, you know, your hairdresser or the vets or someone that you have that interaction with, and start there. And then you can actually not necessarily send them messages, but for example, if you are going into your hairdressers, maybe you like have a really good relationship with them, you can just go and tell them what you're doing, and you can kind of build it up from there. But I would say if you don't want to be on social media, then you need to be going to your local events, maybe some industry shows. And you'll be surprised, like some of the local networking, like they have really early morning ones, and they do sometimes have evening ones as well. I know there was one in my local area and they used to have like curries and stuff, like, and it was actually called that, like, I can't remember, like curry club networking group or something like that. So people could actually go out and do stuff in the evening if they couldn't during the day. I would say like a good VA service to offer that's outside the 9 to 5 is social media, because you can do that any time of day. Even like, I think it's more about giving the client your boundaries. Like I used to say, like, I don't work Fridays and I only work 9 till 3, and people get that. They understand that you have a life and that you're not going to be working for them 24/7. So it does come down to setting your own boundaries and actually having that in a contract, which is really important. That's why I say you need to have a contract, because that will set out some of your working hours and things like that. So social media is a really good one. Even the AI stuff, I'd say even like your diary and diary or even email management, you can do. I don't know what kind of services you've tried to get out of your 9 to 5 and not do within that window, but there are definitely things that you can do outside, even like podcast management, research as well. You can do that any time of day. I've got 8 years experience for C-suite individuals curious about. Do you know, I just quickly, I met one of my clients actually. She used to work with C-suite professionals, and she used to offer the lifestyle services. So she would organize like their home, because you know, C-suite staff, C-suite employees are very busy, they have a lot going on, and sometimes they can't handle work and home. So you know, that might be something that you could offer, especially if you've got experience with working with them. What kind of Facebook? Oh, you've done that. Do you have to pay for AI twin? So there is a bit of software. So I use Leonardo AI and Kling, and it costs around $20 a month, which is around £12, and you can get a lot of photos for that, and enough videos as well. No, it's really me. I'm not my AI twin. I'm live. Trello looks great. I just use the free version. You don't need to upgrade at the moment. The only thing that I would and have always paid for is Canva, like the Pro of Canva. But you don't even need to pay for that. Okay, amazing. If anyone wants to send me an email and ask any other questions, just send it to that and I'll happily answer your questions, or if you're interested in the course, whatever. Any other questions? I think that's it. Sorry guys about my technical abilities. I think it's my computer though. It's very slow. Anything else? Any other questions? No worries guys. Thank you. Thanks Anna for having me as well. So I'm glad I got through it and managed to see my screen. I actually thought at the end that everyone had gone and I'd just been kicked out or something. I'll speak to you later guys.